Well, surprising absolutely no one, ladies and gents, Morbius first reactions are terrible. Not the best. Again, not something that was a massive surprise. Matt Smith recently came out and was like, I don't even know what character I'm playing. But apparently it also has the worst post-credit scene you'll ever see. Oh, Sony. You just can't do it, can you? Shocking. Anyway, please do hit subscribe. Turn the bell notifications on. We're going to dive into this today. I think this will be funny. First reactions to movies are always interesting. Now, I don't think anyone will be thinking that Sony paid anyone off for these first reactions. So it is always comical to take a look. But let's dive into it, ladies and gents. Morbius first reactions. Worst post-credit scene you've ever seen. And also the movie's plot. So I guess to a certain degree, slight spoilers. But no one cares. Like, who cares about this, right? Sony Pictures held a Morbius screening in London today. So that was yesterday. And while critics remain under strict embargo until March 31st. So I think that's literally the day of the film's release. Which is always a bad sign. And in fairness, you've got to remember, this was a bad sign from the start. Because this movie's been delayed so many times. They changed characters' names halfway through the production. Again, that's why Matt Smith doesn't know who he's playing. He's like, I've got no idea. Utterly no idea. I don't know who the villain is anymore. So, it's not a surprise. But again, the fact that they embargoed it until the day of release, yeah, real bad. Real bad. One good, one bad, I guess. You know, Spider-Man was good. Morbius, shite. And I think what's so comical about this as well is that Jared Leto he's a try-hard. Which is, you know, trying hard is never a bad thing, but Jesus, yeah. Anyway, those who attended have started sharing their thoughts on social media, and as a result, we've a mixture of reactions from fans, bloggers, and even a few journalists, all of whom have had plenty to say. Unfortunately, the vast majority of the reactions are not very good. Again, surprising no one. Like, we need to remember this, ladies and gents. Like, this is not. It's not a surprise. If you expected this film to be good, what trailers were you watching? The trailers are generic and bland and boring. Like apparently they've reportedly cut out Sam Raimi's, you know, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. They've cut out the Vulture, but then they've also still left in Venom. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. Now, it appears Morbius failed to strike the same chord as last year's Venom Let There Be Carnage. That was an awful film. That was shithouse. One of the most boring films. That was boring. That was a boring film. And it's coming under fire for poor storytelling, and perhaps more surprisingly, its post-credit scenes. There are 2 of them, and the response seems to be a mixture of anger. How can a post-credit scene anger people? And confusion. There's been no word on what they entail, but it sounds like they'll be divisive. Alright then. So, whilst my Wi-Fi decides to not load anything, we'll just take a look at these blank images here. Well, not blank images, this is where screen grabs from Twitter would be, but yeah, my Wi-Fi is shit out at the moment. So, well, Morbius is about as bad as you're expecting. A 2005 plot collides with visually confusing CGI to create a bit of a snooze fest. But don't worry, they've saved the worst for last, featuring some of the worst post-credit scenes you've ever seen. Sony are off their rocker. I mean, again, if you thought that Sony were anything but off their rocker when they floated the idea of an Aunt May spin-off film, then you're smoking crack, aren't you? Because Sony have been off their rocker for a very long time. A very long time. But it is interesting, isn't it? Like, visually confusing CGI. And I said that when the trailer was released, because I was like, well, what are we seeing when Morbius floats around and like and he sees stuff? Are we seeing his vision? You know? Because things have different colours and stuff like that, but then we see him flying, and then there's this weird cloud around him, and you're like, so why does everything else... Like, I'd get it if it was his vision, and you're seeing things that he is seeing, but when he moves, we're seeing him with the same stuff. It's just weird. It doesn't make any sense. So maybe they're referring to that, I don't know. Morbius proves that no matter how many famous faces or shiny visuals you squeeze in, Sony will always find a way to impressively misunderstand basic storytelling. I love it. It's so funny. This is a film no one... Who's looking forward to this? Well, Morbius is unfortunately not great. Some really shoddy VFX and early thousands formulaic plot. I'm guessing that is very much two vampires go at it, basically. Go at one another. Definitely not as fun as Venom. I fucking hated Venom. I like the first Venom. The second one was shithouse. It's like he had a brain aneurysm in between. Just forgot who he was. Ugh, awful. Anyway, really confused at the future of the Sony Spider-Verse following the post-credit scenes and editing. Maybe Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man pops up. Maybe another Spider-Man from a different universe pops up. God damn. In Morbius, Matt Smith gloriously hams up the place, and Oliver Wood delivers some visual flair to the action sequences. Aside from that, the bad plotting and messy CGI, especially when your protagonist is entirely CGI, that's not really good, is it? Confusing editing and worse sound mix. Wow. Result in absolute incoherence. But the post-credits managed to outdo it all. Not good. And Matt Smith as well. Like, Matt Smith, what a shame. That guy just cannot catch a break, can he? Like, he's in some... He gets given films which could be good on paper, and then they always turn out shockingly bad. Ah, such a shame. He's a good actor as well. The post-credit sequences, it's clear to see where Sony are going with this, but the thought process behind making them actually make sense is non-existent. I reckon that's going to be another... That's going to have to be another Spider-Man, I reckon. Morbius walks a fine tightrope between gothic vampire melodrama and comic book fantasy. Jared Leto embodies Michael Morbius with a dedication no other actor could. That's because he's probably a bit mental. The pacing is brisk, and it features some great visual flair. Wow. Neil Vag. Alright. Morbius is just as disjointed and boring as you expected it to be. Clearly butchered in an edit by a studio who had no clue what they wanted to do with it. Not that there's a good film trapped in there. That's what a lot of people need to understand, is when people go, oh, studios edited this film out. We need the whatever cut of the... I don't even know who's directing Morbius, because it's just such a nothing film. But, most people are always like, oh, release the blah, blah, blah cut. No, sometimes they're just shit films. Mid-credits are a joke, but stick around if you like rolling your eyes. Anyway, who expected anything different from this? Honestly, who expected anything different? I mean, I didn't. It looked shit house. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Please, ladies and gents, I just want to take this time to say thank you to everyone for bearing with me whilst the Wi-Fi is crap, and just generally coming back to the channel. I really appreciate it. We wouldn't be where we are today without you guys. It does mean the world to me. So thank you. If you are new here, to consider hitting subscribe and turning the bell notifications on. And I would say as well, just check that you're subscribed. Please do follow me over on Twitter and Instagram. There's links to both of those things down below in the description box, along with my second channel. That's right, I've got a second channel, as well as memberships and Patreon. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the sun if you're in the UK. We finally got some sun. It's glorious. Take care.